We made it. We made it. We made it. It's Friday Junior. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Hey, everybody. Hey, co-counsel. It's your favorite lawyer at Not Just a Lawyer, Sue Ann Robinson. And I am excited to be here for episode 4 of the Adult Table. Very, very excited to be here today. Let's get into it. We weren't here last week. Super crazy week. I was in Mexico, in Cabo to be specific. Some already kind of know, and I've spoken specifically about it with attorney Simone Redwine and on her YouTube channel that I represent the family of Shanquella Robinson. So we were in Cabo last week on the ground with the team, just kind of searching for answers and on behalf of the family. So needless to say, just dealing with Mexican authorities, trying to get answers for the family. Didn't have a lot of downtime. Just as you can imagine, very grueling, crazy work, a lot of emotions, an intense but productive week. And, just doing what I always call is the most important work of our time. So I never mind it, but I am very, very excited to be back here with you all at the Adult Table this week to kind of lighten my mood, brighten my spirits. We're going to get into the topics and the things and stuff. But I'm just happy to be here, happy to be above ground and living life with you guys and just chilling. I'm very grateful for everyone who has already hit the subscribe button. So excited we're over 100. I know it sounds like a super small milestone to people who have thousands of subscribers, but it's a big deal for me and for us because, we're just building something. You never know how it's going to be received, what people are going to think, and sometimes you don't care, but it's cool to know that there's other adults out there that want to adult and hang out at the Adult Table. And I'm so appreciative of each of you who have subscribed. And of course, all of my previous guests for episode 1, 2, and 3. And of course, for tonight, appreciative of you all in advance. And just happy to be back here. So if you haven't hit the subscribe button, please do that tonight because we gonna have episode 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like we're gonna keep it going. We're gonna make it work. And it wouldn't work without this next person I want to introduce to you. Timothy Welbeck, the man, the myth, the legend, the law professor, the lawyer, the rapper, the father, the husband, Timothy Welbeck.
What an introduction. Thank you, Sue Ann. I appreciate you.
You're my friend.
Yes, ma'am. And I'm glad you're feeling better, too. You sound much better than earlier.
Thank you. I have been with this, I can't show the name, but I've been with this immune buster stuff. Okay. I've been with my tea. I've been on it.
It's working. It's working.
I'm not gonna let nothing take me out the game like that. Just know.
Yeah, you can't do that. Yeah, we need you out here.
How are you doing today?
I'm tired, but that's the story of my life.
He was like, "Listen, you got a lot of titles, friend."
I got a handful here and there.
And then you let me steal time too. I appreciate that.
You're not stealing time. We are. I'm having a great pleasure of participating in the show that you're building, and it's a pleasure to do that.
Thank you. You know what I wanted to ask you that I didn't get to ask you last time because we have the Biggie versus Tupac thing.
Yes.
But what is on your playlist right now? Because you are a rapper, you are an artist, you have music out. So it's like, what does the artist listen to?
That's a great question. So like I have a bunch of playlists. I think I may have sent you a couple of them before. So it just kind of depends on my mood for the day. And so actually today I was listening to a little Nas on the way into work. So I was listening to King's Disease 3. I just this run that Nas has been on with Hit Boy. He's made some incredible music, the two of them together. I really like Odyssey's new album, To What End? So I've been listening to that.
Okay, let me write these down. Hold on. Okay, go ahead.
I've also been listening to Cleo Soul. I'm like late to the party with her, but I love her music, and I realized that I've been hearing her for years, like just in my
Okay.
periphery, never like paying active attention to her, and I actually really been sitting with it of late. And so she's incredible too. So I think those are the three people I've been listening to on regular rotation of most recently.
Okay. I'm preparing myself to either go to Napa for
Mhm.
the Glasper Festival or
Mhm.
the Roots Picnic since I probably can't get both. So I'm just so torn. I'm like, ooh, Philly
We're
or
looking at
Napa?
come on
Like,
to Philly. We're going. We're talking about going to the Roots Picnic too. So you should come up this way.
okay, so then yeah,
Yeah,
that would be a sick link up. That would be sick.
yeah.
That would be sick.
We absolutely got to do that. So
Okay, it's done. I'm going to Philly. I'm
yeah, I
going to
told
Philly.
them like this lineup might actually make me come outside. So I'm kind of excited
Yes.
about
And I've seen Lauren several times. Love her. And I don't know why everybody gives her so much heat, talking about her being late and this and that. I'm like, listen, this lady is a legend.
that.
Okay?
Yeah,
A whole legend. Like,
a
think
whole
about,
legend.
2000 Almond or like somebody just iconic in history gotta pull up. They gonna take
Yeah.
their time, and that's okay.
It is, and Lauren says she got to get herself right, or the show's not going to be right. So, like, I get it; it's frustrating, especially
She
if you got
gotta
to
be
sit.
good within.
How you gonna win if you're not right within? Yeah, but I mean, this lineup is crazy. They got Lauren, they got Ari Lennox, they got the City Girls, Lucky Day, Sid, Glorilla, Black Thought got a set. They let Eve come outside,
They
or Eve
let
decided
Eve
to come
come outside.
outside.
Eve, man, let her come outside, y'all.
Kendrick
Eve.
and the Family Soul, Mary, Coco Jones, State Property. I mean, like this line, Little Brother's gonna be there. I really love them. I mean, they doing some stuff. Mike Phillips, DJ Active. I mean, it's a lot of people out here. So
Yeah, I'm gonna be outside. I'm going to Philly, and it's gonna be summertime, so I can wear Florida.
you can, yeah, like it's not gonna feel like Florida because Florida's different. Y'all see the special, but
Humidity.
it'll be hot though.
Right. I don't have to like wear a coat and like
Oh no,
earmuffs and stuff. I don't
yeah,
like to go places like that when it's y'all wintertime because I'd be like, y'all really got different lifestyles. Like that whole cuffing season, I promise you, I never even entered into my mind
yeah.
until I was in Memphis the other day. And I was like, oh, I see how you could end up in a dead end relationship just because you don't want to be cold. You don't want to be cold. You're literally out here looking for a human blanket because it is that cold.
I never heard about that until I moved up here. So like, I think you're right. It is like just something in the water up here. I never like. I was like, what are y'all talking about?
I mean, I was like, yo, I don't know if it gets any colder in this room.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen. I would definitely have a very high energy bill because I would have that heat blasting at all times. All times.
Yeah, I'm definitely one of them too. I gotta turn it on because we're not doing all that. So
yeah, well, you don't have to worry, but us other people when this yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into it. We have
Mhm.
to talk about the person of the week, and you know what the stands for. I can't say it because my mom be logging on sometimes. I know I'm 40, but like I'm Caribbean. There it is. Still can't curse. She don't like that. So what the big is Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is a state representative.
Mm-hmm.
She took it upon herself to give the perspective of how Black people really should feel when they see Confederate statues. Let me see if we can get the video up. Is that it?
That's it.
Okay, here she goes. A mess. Already looking like a.
Yeah. I'm trying to be nice, but yeah, she a whole mess. And that feels like a disrespect to messes. So.
Girl, what?
Yeah.
Okay, so start with this.
Yes.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, state representative representing Georgia 14th District. Listen to me. Listen. Let me tell you how voting matters. Okay? Because this is up there because people was voting for her, and it wasn't enough people in Rome, Georgia, to be like, nah, something wrong with her. She ain't passed the psych test. Because why would she feel like she needs to speak on Black people's behalf? First of all, that's a no. Secondly, to say that when we see Confederate statues, Black people should be proud and thinking to themselves, look at what my people overcome. No, friend, we don't need those reminders. We have emotional, traumatic reminders. We have systemic oppression that still exists to remind us. So as much as, the Confederate statutes are indeed a reminder, we don't need them.
I was confused because she doesn't want us teaching the history about what the Confederacy did. And she's also conceding that the Confederacy was wrong if we're supposed to look at them and understand that we of a nation have progressed, because she's acting like she wants the Confederacy to have won, but apparently it's a good thing that the Confederacy didn't win, and we're supposed to celebrate that. All the while, this is the same week she called for a national divorce too. She wants to relive this era of the country. She called for a national divorce. She said the red states should separate from the blue states. So this might not even be the worst thing she said this week. In your face,
Marjorie.
Yeah,
come on, friend.
Listen.
And then to do it looking a mess. No. No.
Yeah,
she was the lady who had the white thing on or that was another mess.
No, that was her. And with the balloon, that's her.
What is she trying to run for? Is she like the new lady from Alaska? Remember they had the lady from Alaska that didn't know states in America, but she was going to run for vice president or something?
Yeah, she desperately wants, I believe, to be Donald Trump's running mate in this next cycle. And honestly, she's looking for any opportunity for upward mobility in politics because she knows she shouldn't have gotten this far, too.
She's like, wait a minute, how the hell they let me in here? Oh my goodness.
She gets to fail up. A lot of them get to do that. We don't get that luxury.
Sarah that was the lady.
That was the lady. Isn't it crazy how fast she disappeared? Because they were acting like she was a thing.
They were acting like she was smart, intelligent, about to, shake up the world. And then that's one thing I can say about them. When they done,
they done. Yeah.
Black people, we cancel people, but we bring them back. You know what I mean? We're like, you know what? You messed up. It's cool. You can come to the picnic. Can't bring anything. We're not going to eat from you, but you can pull up. Okay? Or we still going, not me personally, still going to play R. Kelly music. I am not. Glad he got sentenced in his new case to some more time because we've been knowing he was not right. But people still are going to play R. Kelly music and be like, hey, But them, when they're done with you,
done.
Erased. As if you never existed.
Like you never existed. Herman Cain was caping for them, went to a rally called COVID, and they acted like he didn't exist anymore. And that man died. They didn't even go to his funeral. We gotta tell. And
I was glad to see that Eric Holder got sentenced too.
He did. It's just the whole situation was just so terribly sad. Just for him to have killed Nip over something so petty, and it's just But like you said, at least this portion of it is resolved, and so I'm glad there's a bit of closure as it relates to that.
Absolutely, he's locked up.
Won't let him out.
Okay, so I was all excited when I saw this story because I was like, "Ooh, it's a law school." And a Black administrator, I was like, oh, I'm talking to Timothy about this because I would have called you anyway to ask you about this. So then it makes the adult table perfect because we get the opportunity to talk about it here. There's a Black administrator at Vermont Law School. there's these murals that depict slavery at the law school.
Yes.
And they've been there since the 90s. The particular Black administrator is like, hey, students have been telling me since the 90s that these images are offensive and, very upsetting. But these people, the administration of the school are like, no, the artist is fighting in court saying that, he has legal rights, that his work doesn't need to be taken down. As someone who went to law school, right? Law school is traumatic within itself for a Black person. You're learning about the Constitution. You're learning about the founders and how they really didn't care nothing about you. All that. You can't ask race-related questions in your classes because then you're like, okay, is my classmates looking at me crazy? Does my professor get what I'm trying to say? Like, it's crazy. It's like a mind. Everybody didn't have a Professor Timothy. But to walk out my class and then got to see this is a lot.
It is. And for me, the most disconcerting part about it is that the community that is most directly impacted by this mural has been telling this man since 1999 that this image is offensive. It might be well-intentioned, but it's not achieving its desired effect. And rather than listening and potentially even offering to maybe modify or do a new mural, what he does instead is he sues the school using this obscure federal law, trying to keep them from modifying the work. And it just seems like there are missteps along the way, because apparently the law, as obscure as it is, it gives the school an opportunity to have waived his right to challenge modifying it later, and they miss an opportunity to do that. And then also somebody should have looked at least a rendering of what he was. A sketch.
Y'all something. Get a sketch to be like, you know what? This ain't it. We're not gonna put this on the school, y'all.
Yeah, this thing. What did they say? It's like 24 feet or something like that. I feel like that's what they said.
Yes.
It's like multiple walls, and so you would think that you're going to invest that much time and space that you would be sure that you're sure that you're okay with this. But like law school is traumatizing too. And so to have this image on the walls as you're walking to and from class, just like the Cryon says, this ain't it.
This ain't it. No, they need to take it down. Right. Currently, I think it's covered while the lawsuit is pending, but it's like, it's not covered with paint. It's like they have something kind of over it.
Yes.
While the lawsuit is pending. Because they're scared people are gonna try and mess with it.
I mean, the whole thing is a mess because, like you said, they have things blocking the view or at least obscuring the view of the painting, the mural itself, and they're litigating whether they can remove it. And it's just like, y'all,
if we don't like it, take it down. Like what? What are we? I mean, it's something to honor supposedly, slavery and evoke emotions from people. And we're like, too much. So then why wouldn't you take it down? I don't.
Yeah. His argument is that he's trying to show the horrors of slavery and also the fight to end it. But again, it's not achieving its desired effect.
If it ain't working, fix it.
Fix it, please. This is broken. Fix it.
I mean, that part. Okay.
Yeah. So.
This is going to be like the last story just in our segment, but kind of like a Black History Month special. One of those things where it's like, why y'all don't leave us alone? So Black girl, she's 9 years old, beautiful, chocolate, bubbly girl, is like so into science, and she finds out that these specific type of fireflies, which, listen, when I was 9 years old, what I was doing, I was super into spelling bees, but I definitely didn't know anything about science, and not this level of depth to where Yale was going to honor me. Okay. I was getting A's, but I was not on Ms. Bobby Wilson's level. She's going around her neighborhood. She finds out there's an invasive species. She's using a very specific formula that she's come up with to spray the plants and trees in her neighborhood to prevent them from being destroyed by an invasive species of bug that was probably introduced to the neighborhood by some colonials in the first place, right? And then she gets Karened by a Darren who calls the police and says, there's a tiny black woman walking around the neighborhood spraying poison over the plants. And the cops really pull over this girl. And she's 9. Look how cute she is.
Yeah, she's an adorable young lady. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's, for me, the audacity to call law enforcement, to even have the thought that you should call law enforcement on what is obviously a child.
A child.
Engage in something innocuous. And then to know that law enforcement will respond to you. It's, to me, it's just, it's so chilling, just the level of depravity. This is a child. And like you said, Bobby Wilson is brilliant. This child researched about these insects and found a way to mitigate their impact in her neighborhood. She's doing good for the neighborhood and exercising a level of brilliance you typically don't see in a child.
She's not out here Kyle Rittenhousing, okay, at all.
That part. And it just speaks to just the adultification of Black children, particularly Black girls, and facing the brunt of state violence and reprimands. To call the police on a child like this and say that she's an adult is terrifying, especially because so often these things have fatal consequences for our children. And so just my daughter just did a report on police brutality, and she was talking about Tamir Rice, because Tamir Rice she's the age that Tamir Rice was when he was murdered. And just our children have to think about these things in ways that white children do not. And to subject this child to this trauma in this way when she was engaging in intellectual curiosity is appalling. And so I'm glad that Yale honored her.
Won't he do it?
Come on, won't he will. So so what was meant for her bad turned out for her good. I hope she ends up at Yale one day. If she wants, I hope she teaches there too. You know what I mean? So
I hope they rename the school. I just want her to have everything, because I just feel like, oh my God, you couldn't be more wrong.
Yeah,
like she's not on the corner. She's not throwing dice. She's not Kyle Rittenhousing. She's literally out here being a small, tiny Black superhero.
She is.
And racial profiling. Okay. So let's bring our, I guess, third guest for the next story. Me and Timothy talked about this before. The Illinois, excuse me. That sounds like someone who says Salmon. Illinois paramedics killed killed a beautiful Black man by putting him face down on a gurney, and then said oops and lied about it, told crazy stories. But we didn't have like a medical expert person at the time. And then I was like, you know what? One of my castmates is a whole medical expert. So where is Anthony? Is he there? Is he there? Anthony is a whole nurse practitioner.
There we go.
Skylar's dad, man of the people, my castmate, season 7, Ready to Love. I appreciate you. How are you?
How's it going? Hey, Tim, what's going on?
Man? How you doing, sir?
Good. Can't complain. Tired like you.
That's what I like to.
Because we're doing the most important work of our time, people. Anthony, so we have you here.
Come on.
This strapping him onto the gurney in prone position.
So I first heard about the story when you said something about it. I try not to watch the news very much. It's depressing. But this was wrong on so many different levels. I might have watched the video a few times to kind of dissect exactly what was going on. In my mind, originally, when I heard about the story, I originally thought maybe the two EMS workers showed up and maybe the police were involved in a combative situation with him, and they kind of reciprocated that energy and treated him a certain way. But they walked into the situation on some, I don't care, I don't want to treat this guy. Kind of like they kind of knew him and there had been some kind of a past history there with them. But just their attitude alone just showed no compassion at all. No care, nothing.
Is there any time when paramedics, and the reason why I'm asking honestly is because I feel like people might see this happening and be like, and can be like, I'm not trying to get in y'all business, but I need to get in y'all business. Is there ever a time where you put someone face down on the?
Never a time. In fact, if you ever have to deal with like a trauma patient that might have had something impelling from their back or their stomach, you would put them in the left lateral position to their side. Okay. And you learn this in EMT school. Literally, they go through the they go through the body mechanics on how you should strap someone down, position them based on what kind of trauma or medical issue they might be having, shortness of breath or anything. So they go through all this. So that was just a pure issue of neglect. In fact, as I watched this man lean on the side of the stretcher, and the police officer actually helped him onto the stretcher while the paramedic stood there telling him, get on it. That was just totally wrong. You could see he was in distress. He was delusional because he was going through alcohol withdrawals and he wasn't even combative. You know, I thought maybe he was combative towards them, but he wasn't even combative. He was truly sick.
Wow.
You know, so to strap him down, face down, I could definitely see why he ended up suffocating the way he did.
It was like it's obvious that it was on purpose if they put him face down, like they're trying
to tighten the belts the way that they did. You can see them tighten the belts on him across his back while he's face down on the stretcher. That's never a good thing. You're pressing up against a person's diaphragm. Of course you can't breathe. Are you kidding me?
Right. Well, I appreciate you, Tony, for coming and talking to us about that and kind of because I was like, I mean, I'm a layperson, obviously I don't have medical expertise, but I was looking at it like this ain't right. But I'm glad that you were here to kind of clear the air and definitely say, listen, if you see this going on, it's not cool.
No,
it's not good.
Definitely not right. Definitely.
Okay. I want to bring my fourth guest for this next story. He's a gym connoisseur, a tax director, just a romantic, very smooth gentleman, and my castmate ready to love season 7, Big Tony.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much. So, Timothy, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Likewise.
I should say cyber meet you. So,
huh?
I'm sorry. He said cyber meetings. Yeah. I can hear you.
Okay. Hey, Ant, what's up, man? How you doing, brother?
What's up?
Nothing much. So, thank you for having me on this platform. Truly appreciate it, and looking forward to answering any questions.
Well, thank you for coming. You know, I appreciate you. You know, we got love for each other. So absolutely. I appreciate you pulling up. You know, a classy act. He is getting his stuff set up.
Yep.
But listen, I wanted to talk to you guys about this case. The story before we bring the rest of our guests in, which I'm super excited about.
Sure.
So Rihanna, because it's going to sound like it's a girl story, but it's really not. Rihanna did a cover shoot for Vogue with her BD, A$AP Rocky, who's a rapper. And then I saw people like putting out the picture and like saying like A$AP Rocky is behind her. Here it is. So he's submissive and she's the leader and he's the follower and all this stuff. And I don't understand any of this. Okay. Because when I saw it without all the writing, because the actual cover doesn't have that writing on it, I was like, that's a beautiful family photo.
Right.
she's killing it. She's a mom and she is, in a relationship and she's showing us her family. I was like, oh, okay, she's letting us know what's going on because, she be hiding and doing her thing. So when I saw this, I was like, what? And then it has cock shame. That's why he has his hand over the thing. Like, what? As guys, like, did you get any of that from this? Like, when you look at it, do you see this stuff?
Yeah.
Tony, because
Sure. No. So honestly, when I look at that picture, I see a beautiful family. I don't see anything wrong with it. It's people all over this world always have something negative to say, but I truly believe that it appears to be a happy family, and it's a beautiful picture. I honestly do not see anything wrong with it at all.
They're on Vogue magazine. I was
Exactly.
like, what? We're like, his face is soft and this is just weird.
Right.
What about you, Anthony? Do you think her face looks hard? Like, what?
So I think it's a beautiful family picture. I feel like, and we know this, everybody's gonna find something negative to say about something. Like, literally always find something negative to say. They might have said, because she has more money than him, she's leading the family.
Right.
That's why he's behind her or whatever. But
ASAP got his own money. His net worth about 19-20 million.
Right. He's not worth a billion.
So that's not bad. Now that's not bad.
That's not bad. That's okay.
He's not worth a billion. Don't get me wrong. Hey, I'm not in their pockets.
I'm sure he's paying the bills. I'm sure the bills is being paid and everything's fine over there.
That brother has more than me, so we good.
He has Rihanna. He got Rihanna.
But he got a Rihanna. You know what I mean? But no, this is a beautiful picture, to be honest with you. They could have left him and the baby out, but they incorporated him, and that said a lot to me. You know what I mean?
They have both the babies because she's pregnant in that picture.
Exactly. So they incorporated the whole family into that. So I respect it. I love it. You know what I mean? I find a positive in it.
Absolutely.
What do you think, Timothy? Because I mean, obviously, as a intellectual and someone who has to evaluate things deeper, maybe you see it. Maybe.
No, I agree with the Tonys here. This is a beautiful display of Black love, and one of the things that people are misunderstanding is the context of the photo. So they filmed this shoot and to build off the visibility of her Super Bowl appearance. And then also just her continuing to expand her businesses. And this is a way of demonstrating that a woman can have it all. She can be successful in her career, but she can still have her family. And not only that, but that her partner is enthusiastically supporting her. He's a present father. I mean, I just don't understand why people are always looking for the negative in something like this. Vogue magazine typically centers on women and women's issues and women's fashion. So ASAP is not someone that ordinarily would even be on the cover. He's on the cover in a show of visible support for his partner and their family. And all of these other things that people are reading into it are projections of insecurities. And so and there's similar conversations around Jonathan Majors around the same time, people questioning his masculinity with the ebony.
Because he had the pink, which I'm a huge Prince fan, and I thought it was sexy, just me personally. But when people started with he's being feminized, I was like, because he's wearing pink? No. Like in the same photo shoot, he's like showing his 36 pack, like his insane body, all his muscles, like he's like, like has his head down, I guess, so he is showing his diversity is what I thought. I never looked at it like, ooh, he's acting like a girl. I was like, okay, well, I like all these pictures. Is there more? That's all right.
The things I would say to that are, one, like the people who are supposed to like that picture. I have not heard a single woman complain about that photo shoot. One, and two, it was supposed to be based on an anime character, and so that's another thing. And then three, the whole discussion around pink. that's like a social construct. And it used to be the converse. It used to be pink was associated with masculinity and blue was associated with femininity, because pink was supposed to be a hue of red, and it was supposed to display the fiery nature of men, and blue was supposed to be associated with the Virgin Mary. And then when people started marketing products to children as a separate class of individuals, that shifted in marketing. So that's really like only the last 50, 60 years that people have even associated pink with femininity. And so like even people jumping at that is like, bro, like read a book, you know what I'm saying? Like
this is why Sir Timothy is in the building. Like, did y'all hear this man break down the history of the color?
Tim, break it down, man. Break it down.
We need it. I appreciate it. Okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna transition a little bit. I'm going to show, because there's always digital clips and dates that aren't shown in the show. Ready to Love. That to me, I feel like they miss all the fun stuff in the show and just put crazy stuff on, not all, but a lot of crazy stuff, and then miss the fun stuff. Like we all had this super, super fun, lit group date.
Come on now.
Okay. And it wasn't shown. Let me see if we can get the digital clip to come up. This was after Anthony sprayed me with water gun, like we was in the streets. Okay, don't judge me.
Man, that looks so much fun.
It was so fun. It was so fun. I was scared. I'm not gonna lie.
You were scared.
I was like, Mercedes, hold on to me. It was fun, but it was still scary. Look at this.
Wow.
That boy, he messed my head up with that one.
Okay.
That's the best. That's the best you're gonna get. That's the best you're gonna get.
Okay. So
I feel like with the date itself, it was like a fun bonding experience. And for me, like fun is a love language. So just us like hanging out, like doing stuff that's not, not sitting down eating dinner, doing something, kind of active and fun. Definitely was a great date. How did you, go ahead.
So the crazy part about that date is what they didn't show is there was a huge water slide on that date. And I think it was me, Suwan, Cynthia, and Blake were on the top of the water slide. And I don't remember who went down first, but I must have ran over to Suwan and gave her a nudge that just threw her off the side of the water slide. She goes shooting down into this big thing of water, and they didn't even show it. Like that's horrible. They didn't show that.
The water slide was like, I wanted to go on everything. I wanted to play all the games. I wanted to do all the stuff. So I saw the water slide. Some of the ladies are like, "Oh yeah, whatever." I was like, "Well, it is what it is. I want to go on the water slide." So Anthony, once I got up there and realized that it was so tall, I was not scared, but I was like, okay, hesitating. And Anthony was like, and I went like, ah! But it was so fun. It was so fun. And I feel like we don't have a space really in media where it just shows Black people just having fun. So I was kind of bummed that it didn't get make it to the episode, but I'm glad they still, gave at least digital clips for people to check out, because it does, like, fun is a love language to me. So I feel like us just getting to kind of do something different out of the ordinary was super dope. Hey, Demario, I see Demario's on there. What's up, Seek But You Can't Hide? And Khadijah, what's up? What's good? So if Tony was there, I feel like Tony would have had on like a Adidas, sweatsuit with, with his chains and everything, you know what I'm saying? With some shell toes. He would have been up there like, all right, y'all, I'm about to kill this. Tony would have I feel like his inner sportsman would have come out. We would have got to see.
It had Nike on though, so definitely Nike.
Nike. Okay, not Adidas. Okay, Nike.
Yeah, I wish I was involved with that. You guys look like you know, it was a lot of fun. So yeah,
It was. It definitely was.
We had an amazing time, definitely.
Okay, let's introduce the rest of our guests.
go ahead.
So we have Ms. Monica. Where is she?
Oh, there she is.
So pretty.
Hi. Hi.
Welcome to the adult table.
Yes, the wrong folks have arrived.
Period.
She's here.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you for having me, Miss Susu. And let's see, we have the Tony is the smooth operator.
That part.
Mr. Timothy is the genius. And then Anthony is GQ of the year. And then we have the beautiful Miss Susu.
Aw, thank you. No,
She came in with a compliment. She came in with a compliment.
I see. No, Miss Monica is a successful serial entrepreneur, a mommy, and obviously she blogs about reality TV series, and she definitely, is very refined. And I love that for the adult table, and I appreciate her being here.
And I appreciate you having me. I was excited.
No, we love it. I'm going to introduce our other two guests, and we'll have like a little icebreaker. So thank you. I'm giving you virtual high fives. Okay, our next guest, we have the Stamps, Mr. and Mrs. Stamps. They are based out of West Michigan. I love me some Black love, but let me tell you, when Black love plus Black excellence, that's it right there. I love that. I love it. Okay. And as someone who my ex-husband is a lawyer, could never work with him. People always ask that, would you marry a lawyer? You guys can work together. I'm like, no. So when I see a couple that can work together, I'm like, oh, that's a bond. That's a different type of bond. Because even when you can't escape for them 7 hours, you still here. We right here. We together.
It's true.
On one accord.
Yep.
So I welcome you guys. Thank you for joining the adult table.
Thank you for having us.
So I'm super excited to have you guys here. How are you guys doing?
Doing good. Chilling on this Thursday.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Okay. Is our other guest here or no? Okay. So this is it. This is us. We're at the adult table. What's up? We'll do the icebreaker. Yes.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I don't know the Stamps, so can we get a little history behind the husband and wife? I don't know. Can we get a little history?
Right.
You are too sweet.
I want to know.
Listen, they have over 100,000 combined subscribers. They operate Stamps Enterprise LLC. They create reaction videos, but they have a clothing line, a self-care product line. Like
Damn.
they are, they making it happen. Like all the we on Ready to Love. Getting ready to love, and they we done figured it out. We got a formula, we got a business, we got all that stuff. So listen, the Stamps be known.
That's what's up.
That's cool.
And I'm gonna swing by Mrs. Stamps to try to get me some hair because they were talking about my hair so bad. I was like, "What's wrong with my hair?" Oh, y'all, we had us running around a lot. I had to go on a water slide at one point. Y'all.
Hey, it was hot outside. We were getting dressed in the car. All that good stuff, man. Like no grace at all. Yeah.
And it's Miami.
No grace. Okay, let's try to find my icebreaker stuff. Normally, when we have more casts, we do the never have I ever or most likely to with the cast, but we'll do it with us.
Okay.
But we will do it as hold up a finger how does never have I ever? You raise your hand. Okay, hold up a finger if you've never done the thing. So then at the end we're gonna see who's like this. I feel like I know who. Feel like I do. Feel like over here, like in the lower part with the orange, but I'm gonna leave Tony alone. Okay. All right, so here we go. Never have I ever got a tattoo. Thank you, boss. Very kind.
So we're supposed to put our hands up if we have not done this?
If you have it.
Okay.
Look at Tony. I know Tony got tattoos.
Yeah.
Okay. Never have I ever. Wait, you hold your hand up if you. See, now y'all got. Okay.
You jacked
Okay,
up,
so-
Tony.
Sue, you confusing me, Sue.
You're right. I'm messing up the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so never have I ever got a tattoo. If you've never gotten a tattoo, then you put your hand up.
Okay. So I can do that.
Okay. Never have I ever nude streaked in public. Okay. Never have I ever ghosted someone.
I think I have.
Oh, okay.
Damn,
Never have I ever lied to get out of a date. Miss Stamp's thinking, she's like, hold on. Because I did have to wash my hair, but I kind of did. I could have waited a couple more days. Okay. Never have I ever dumped someone over text.
I've done that before.
Never have I ever lied to someone on the slide.
On a what?
On this table.
Okay.
Okay.
Do I put it up or if you never done?
Oh, never have I ever used someone else's toothbrush.
Have I done?
That's nice. Okay. Never have I ever been cheated on.
Cheated on? Yeah.
You don't have his hand up for nothing. That's fine.
Shit.
Okay, that's it. Let's see. Okay, see, they got the same one. I told y'all they on one accord.
Look at that.
Yo, I swear that their hands been up the whole time.
Yeah.
They're on one accord. Tony, what did you raise your hand for? Because I know something on here. No new treatment in public.
No, I did that. I did that in college.
Okay, what about ghosting someone?
Yes, I did that as well.
Okay. What about you, Anthony? Because I feel like you didn't really.
So I never really put my hands up that much. So as far as my nude streaking, I actually went to a nude resort one time. So I had to get undressed at the nude resort in Jamaica, and then go to somebody. Yeah. Long time ago. Long time.
Was it a vacation or you was alone?
Well, at the nude resort.
Mm-hmm.
So what ended up happening was I was actually staying across the street, and I was curious about it, so I got a day pass.
Did you say what happened was?
Yeah, what happened? So I went across the street on a day pass, so I kind of, had to adapt to what was going on.
Okay. Miss Monica, have you dumped someone over text? I feel like you had your hand up for that. Did you? Okay. Somebody was like, I did that. Was it you?
Oh, it was me.
Yeah. Miss Sam said she did that. No, I'm gonna call you and tell you. I don't want you no more, baby. Sorry.
Mrs. Sam, you dumped. You ruined this man's life. I mean, granted, it obviously worked out. But over text?
Yeah, he was like, we were arguing and he was saying that he didn't want his kids in church. He just said that. And that was when I was like first coming to Christ. So I said, I'm done. We good.
Okay, you was like, the Lord, you got to go. Okay, I see what you're saying. Timothy is married. So this is a good. Have you? Have you ever used someone else's toothbrush, like accidentally?
Oh, probably I've accidentally used my wife's toothbrush before.
Okay. I feel like that's something that can happen when you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I probably.
What about lying to get out of a date? I'm not trying to get you in trouble. I'm just trying to.
I don't think I've done that.
Okay. All right. So, guys, I was going through and I was trying to come up with topics because I knew we would have, more guys than girls. So the first video that I came across, it was a video where they were talking about 5 things that men need to unlearn. So because I respect all the guys on here, I was like, let me see what they think about this. Oh, Kodo is coming. Great. Can we play the video? Let's see. I thought it was super interesting because I thought about some of the things on the list, but it was interesting to see a guy saying it, and I'm super interested to see if other men kind of agree with the list or disagree, which is cool. Are you getting it? Oh.
Oh, that's the last person.
What do you guys think about his 5 things? I'll ask Mr. Stamps first. The list of 5 things that men have to unlearn.
I didn't really hear it. I was trying to read the caption.
Right. So
there was no sound. Yeah, there was no sound.
He says
I couldn't hear it either.
Okay. Well, vulnerability is not a weakness; it's a strength. Okay, so the second one is you're enough and you don't have to live up to like rigid notions of manhood. And then the third one is, what was the third one?
We don't need to measure ourselves.
You don't have to measure yourself by what you have. So you're. Okay, and that you don't need to objectify women.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's the last one, right?
Okay.
So what do you think, Mr. Stamps? Vulnerability is a strength. You're enough. You don't have to adhere to the rigid notions of manhood or gauge yourself based on like where you are economically or financially, and that you don't men should unlearn objectifying women.
Yeah, I think those were 5 good points. I know. So we're married. We've been married for 3 years, and I definitely think the vulnerability side of the things is something that I personally learned throughout just our marriage and things like that. Not being afraid to just completely be open enough to speak what's on my mind, or if there's something that I'm desiring or needing more of from her, just being vulnerable enough to express that to her. So I completely agree, with what he was saying as regards to that, because I know that's something that, I've really been working on within our marriage and something that I think has worked out pretty well. So
Do you feel like because you are married and you're like in a more safe space, whereas like when the dating world, it's almost like it's not as safe. You don't know like who you can, because you're not sure. Do you feel like being a married person, one of the benefits is it's your person, so you're like, hey.
Oh, absolutely. I can trust her with literally anything. It's something that when you're dating someone, I feel like I can trust them, but I definitely think maybe you hold back just a little bit. With my wife, it's just like anything I'm thinking, anything I'm feeling, it's like right here, phone call away, text message away, whatever it is, I can express that to her, and I feel completely comfortable in being able to do that. So, yeah.
Definitely a plus.
Definitely.
Anthony, what do you think about the discussion? He says that men have to unlearn or should unlearn rigid notions of manhood. I mean, to me, an example would be like, I guess what we were talking about earlier, how people said Jonathan Majors wore pink or whatever. So everybody's like, oh, he's acting feminine because he's wearing pink. What do you kind of think about, you know, men unlearning that?
So I think that's very important. It's kind of like when I went to the military. I had to go to basic training. Basic training broke me in order to make me what the Army wanted me to be. So I feel like as a man, you have to do the same thing when coming into a relationship or a marriage with a woman. You have to undo everything that you've learned and you've been doing as a single man and kind of relearn everything as a married man. So I do believe that's absolutely correct. You know, you come in kind of like what Mr. Staff said, you know, you can't move with your vulnerability as a single man the same way you would do as a married man. You know, so now your wife is your safe place. You can trust her, you can rely on her, you can be open to her, and she won't break you down. Whereas when you're in the dating world, it's a possibility that that can happen. So you're always going to be on guard and on fear of that. So it's definitely a relearning curve when you do insert into a marriage versus as a single man or you're dating someone that you actually see as your potential wife.
Okay. I'll ask Tony, what do you think about the notion that men should unlearn, I guess, seeing women as a conquest or objectifying women, like unlearning that behavior? What do you think? What does it look like?
I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing you. Can you repeat that again?
Oh, I was saying one of the things that was mentioned in the list was he was saying men should unlearn seeing women as a conquest and objectifying women. So I was asking if you agreed with that or not, first of all, and then if you did or didn't, what do you think it looks like, men not seeing women as a conquest or objectifying them? Uh-oh, we lost him.
Yeah, he's not muted.
Oh, he's not muted.
He's not as far as signal.
Okay, we'll ask. We can ask Timothy until Tony comes back.
Sure. I think that's one of the things that men can do to best improve their relationships with women is to stop objectifying them and to view women as whole human beings, and particularly to learn how to foster relationships that are not aimed at trying to have sex with a woman. So you can have so many beautiful and affirming and mutually beneficial relationships with women without trying to use them.
Mm-hmm.
So, and even if you have a partner too, like looking at her as a whole person and not viewing her as something that you're entitled to, and like her body is hers, and that in given time she might share it with you, but to unlearn this expectation that we have that women are objects for our pleasure is something that men, I think, must unlearn, and the sooner they do that, the sooner they can have healthy relationships with women.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. I appreciate you stepping in, and I think I agree with the 5 things that were said. Obviously, which is why it kind of resonated with me, because I was like, yeah, right on. And I know there's always posts where there's guys who are saying things that I feel like are very truthful or ring true. And even speaking to you all as men, as in relationships, moving towards relationships, etc., you know, in our age group, agree with. And then always in the comments, there's guys that are like, oh, they just saying that because they pandering to girls, and they just saying that because whatever. And it's almost the same thing as when there's a woman that says, hey, women need to be accountable, or we need to do this for men, or whatever. And then there's people in the comments, oh, she's a pick-me. She's just trying to, you know, say that this stuff so men like her, or whatever. And I'm like, why is it that if a man is understanding like something on a deeper level, or a woman is understanding how to interact with a man on a deeper level, and I'll ask Ms. Monica, why do you think people still want to like pick it apart and make it negative?
Well, basically, we live in a negative world. That's just it. I mean, it's no positive anywhere, any place anymore. It's just negative all the way around. I'm older, and I come from a generation to where I was taught to feed my man before I feed my kids. I was taught that my grandfather taught me one thing. He said, if a man cannot be a man in his house, he needs to burn it down. And I stand by that. You know,
what do you mean? What does that mean? Unpack that.
It means that even though I am an alpha woman,
okay,
my man is always going to be more alpha than me.
Okay.
Because I know how to be submissive when it's time. Just like a man should know how to be submissive when it's time. It's always a 50-50. It has to be. It's no 40-60. It's no 80-100. It's none of that bull. It's 50-50. Everybody needs to know their place. And if a man cannot run his home, then we have a problem. If you're not equally yoked, you have a problem. And so when women want to say, oh, well, she's just saying that because she's desperate for a man and she needs a man, or he's just saying that because he's, what's the word they're using now? He's want to be caked up with the female because he wants this. No, I mean, it is still some men out there that believe a woman is still the jewel. And it's still some women out there that believes the man is still the king. And that's something that we have gotten away from. And so that's why we have single women and a lot of single men, because we can't find a mate because we're too busy looking at social media, what the comments are saying, what the people are saying. And so now we want to be put in a place where, okay, well, they're saying this over there, so maybe I should be vulnerable to this woman because I really like her, but am I looking too weak? If I put on a big shirt because she wants me to dress like her, am I too weak? You know, those are the things that we are taking when we're thinking about relationships. That's why it's so hard to find that person. So we're just living that negative world. And I'm a fool for love. So, you know, I don't mind waiting on my man. I don't mind being that girl. And then I'm going to say what I have to say. I'm going to still be alpha. I'm still going to be boss. But I'm going to also know when my man says this, then this is this. And that's just that.
Okay. Yeah. The reason why I like the stamp so much is because obviously I don't know them personally. But I feel like in their dynamic, in their reviews and in their business, it is like everyone plays to their strengths. Is that kind of how you guys do it? That's how it looks to us.
Plays to their strength. Yeah, I would say so.
Or do you feel like there's like one person's in charge all the time and the other person is like, okay, or, you know, what is the dynamic?
I wouldn't say so. So like, when we first started, she's very like video oriented, very much likes to talk on the camera, do the reality type things. I'm more just kind of chill, laid back type of a person. I just kind of go with the flow a little bit. So when we think about like videos and kind of all that types of things, that's just really where she comes into play. That's her strength. that's what she does. Me, I'm kind of more business oriented and minded. I like marketing, I like sales, I like things like that. So that's kind of where I come into play with things. But we definitely have a good balance, and we know this is what she do, this is what I do. I'm not gonna really step into your lane like that because you're great at doing that, and I'm gonna encourage you to do that, and vice versa for my side too. So
okay, Kojo is here. What's up?
Hey guys, how you doing? You all right? Yeah.
Yes, what's good from across the pond?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm alive and I'm well, thank you. How's everybody doing on the panel today as well?
We're good. We're happy to be here. We were just talking a little bit about 5 things men. There was a post about 5 things men should unlearn. Ooh. So we were talking about that, and then I kind of dovetailed into just talking about like the dynamics in a relationship. You know, is there someone that's in charge and someone that follows, or is it like a ebb and flow, or is it, you know, the idea that it's a team? I just feel like everybody plays to their strengths at any given time. Like, I just feel like if I'm married and I'm a lawyer and we're doing some legal stuff, then I'm gonna, you know what I mean? But if I'm married to someone that's a doctor and we doing some medical stuff, I'm gonna let them kind of, you know, handle that. So what do you think about I feel like you had a discussion about people talking about who's alpha and who's not and all that stuff. How does that actually work, in your opinion, in a relationship, those labels?
In my personal opinion, I believe, first of all, let me put my stance here, my flag down, is that men are called to be leaders. And the word here is called to be leaders, right? And there are always exceptions to rules, right? I believe there are some women that will be better leaders overall than a man in a relationship. I think what we talk about is dynamics within a relationship. You explain a very good thing, right? If it comes to legal stuff, I'm not versed on legal. Babe, take control. What we're doing on legal, right? But overall, and I think most women will maybe someone might fight this, but overall, I think this will come down to it. Women want men to take control of dynamics within the interdynamics of a relationship. So yes, I may not know about the legal stuff. I don't necessarily need to take over, but I may need to delegate. You know, like, babe, hey, listen, you know what? You take control of this part. I'll handle this other side of the things, whatever. A woman wants to feel like a man is in control of the proceedings, right? And the moment we step away from the control aspect, and control not being a negative part, not controlling, but just in terms of being in the leadership role.
Or having a plan, being the one who does the plan.
Right? Well, as soon as we step away from that, women feel they have to step up, then they get tired stepping up, and then the frustration and the resentment kicks in, right? And then we have poor dynamics in the relationship. Men have been called to lead for a reason and a purpose. And so when I'm in my masculine energy and I'm able to provide the protection around, the feminine can thrive, right? So it's that doesn't mean that you are going to do every single thing within a relationship. A manager doesn't know every single thing. In fact, if you have a boss or a manager ahead of you, he doesn't even know all the answers. He just knows how to manage. So you may be more knowledgeable in certain areas, but the reality is the responsibility, or I should say, the responsibility comes down to the manager. If you don't do your job, he's going too. So like it takes two, but there's a I don't even like saying hierarchy, but I would rather say there's a line here where we say, like, you as a man, you actually take a majority of the brunt of responsibility. And I always say this as well, like, our community, especially our Black community, we have conversation all the time. But the reality is, if men don't take responsibility and actually take account for our actions, our community actually suffers. So whenever you see a community suffering, it's because the leaders are not doing what they're supposed to do. Therefore, the people who are meant to quote unquote follow, which are our women, they end up suffering because we're not doing what we're supposed to do. Women want to follow men, good men, who know how to lead appropriately and lead correctly in love, not by controlling or by dominating some way, but by leadership in love. This is how we should be leading. And in love, that doesn't mean I don't ask your opinion. That doesn't mean I don't ask your contribution. That doesn't mean I don't ask you to do certain things like, and try to be egotistical. It means, first and foremost, I serve in that place. And sometimes that means stepping aside. That means sometimes, babe, can you take this because you're better at this? but it's making sure that first and foremost, I've got you not only financially, mentally, spiritually, sexually, and physically as well. You are supposed to provide in all those different areas. So for me, there is always a headship role that men are supposed to play. And when things go wrong, they are looking at you, if I like it or not.
Yes.
You think that if the ship sinks, it's on the guy, and if it rises, is it on the man still? Successes and failures.
It's always on the guy, unfortunately. Listen, whenever you hear a story from a woman, what happened in a relationship, often, and I love women, but often what do they say? He didn't do this, he didn't do. When you go wrong, you still get the blame.
What do men say when the relationship ends? What do they say?
They blame the women. They blame the women.
Okay.
But the reality is, you're still culpable as a man. Mm-hmm. You're still culpable because God gave you authority, and He gave you a role. And in that role, if you don't give in the right way and give the right resources, because headship's about source. What do I give in the right way to feed the body? The body can't complain about what the head is doing. The head has to give the right food to the body for the body to be nourished. So if you are the head and you don't appropriately give to the body, and the body's out of shape, you're looking at the body like, body, you're out of shape. But what did you feed the body? Right? So as a man, you can't get away from that. You will be culpable, and you will learn if you don't give appropriately to the woman who's meant to be receptive, and you don't give her the right resources and the nutrients, you're going to find out. You're going to find out what happens at the end. You're going to get something back, and it won't be what you actually wanted. So what you sowed is what you're going to reap.
What do you think, Timothy? Because I don't want to repeat it, that you're a husband. Yeah. But do you think that your role is to lead, or I won't put words in your mouth, because I more feel like it is a leadership role, and the leadership role has, in my mind, to do with the person who's kind of setting the plan, and then we're all activating on the plan. But what do you think, Timothy? Because
that's kind of how I look at it, and I think in a lot of ways it evolves, but ultimately, like, it comes back to the foundation of the ultimate responsibility of what happens for the Welbeck House falls on me. And so we work together as a team and as a partnership, and I consult my wife on every major decision. I value her insights, her wisdom, her opinions, things that she does better than me. I defer to her about, but ultimately what happens in the Welbeck House is my responsibility. Her, our children, the upkeep of the house. And even in a biblical sense, that's how you determine if a man is fit to lead. He who rules his house well is one of the qualifications. And so just looking at it, that basic framework, you should be able to lead your house if you're going to build a household. And so if you're asking a woman to join your life with her life with you, one of the things you're asking her to do is follow the path that you're on, to follow your lead, and to understand that. And so, and like you said, Sue-Ann, like, you got to be going somewhere. You need to have a plan. Right. You need to live a life that's worthy of submission. So, like, there's a lot of people out here demanding submission, and they live in a life that's worthy of someone submitting to, who don't have the character or the discipline to have anyone following after them. And so I think it starts there, holding yourself accountable, holding yourself to a high standard, and understanding that. And so that's how I look at it in many ways. And just I've never looked at myself as like my wife's boss, or lording over her in any type of way. Like, I think that's silly. And I think a lot of people take headship and leadership and misconstrue it in that way. Because, like, I don't order her around. I don't control her in any type of way. Like, we are partners. But ultimately, like, the accountability, the final say, so to speak, like, when it's all said and done, people are looking at me, so to speak. And so I have to take responsibility for what happens in my house and for the people in my house.
That's right.
And I know that I see the stamps kind of quiet, but I feel like Do you guys agree with kind of what Timothy's saying in the sense that it's not a set thing?
Yeah.
Or do you think there's definite roles for sure?
What do you think?
I think there's definitely roles, but I definitely agree with what Timothy was saying. Most definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much how we get down to. So
how do you like go track it back to like your dating? How does it look in your dating? Because what is the expectation of Mrs. Stamps in the dating setting in terms of seeing and knowing, like, is she going to be able to be led, or what is an example of that in a dating setting?
She over there acting shy.
I'm not good at this, as you can see. But how did you know that I was a good wife material?
Well, I just believe in intentional dating, and I felt like that's what we really did. Is that when we came into this, it wasn't a situation of I'm just here because I'm trying to have some fun. Not like that. It's like very much from day one, like, this is what I want. I want to be married, blah, blah, blah. She was very transparent, very open as well about what it is that she was looking for. And that's something that really attracted me to her in the first place, is that she was very much like, hey, I want to be married.
So on the first date, you guys were like, hey, just so you know, I want to be married.
So yeah, actually, that's really how it happened. So we actually met at church. We were working together in the media ministry. Our first actual time speaking and talking with one another was a good 6 or 7 hours long, just sitting down in front of one another, going through just our lives, history. You would think that we've known each other for years. But really it was just those moments, and that was just really intentional. And from that moment, it's like, all right, yeah, this is cool. And literally within 3 months, I knew that this was going to be my wife. This is who I was going to marry. We didn't actually get engaged until like a year later, but I mean, we are very intentional the entire time. And that intentionality for me personally is really what I believe brought us to this particular point. So
what do you think, Kojo? Are you going on first dates and saying, well, I know you're on break, you're on hiatus, but when you get out of your hiatus, are you going to go on dates and be like, hey, listen, what are you having? The lobster? Okay, that's great. I just want to let you know that I'm looking for a wife.
You know what? I would definitely say that if I'm in that zone. I think an intentional man is important. If you're looking for that, if you're looking for a wife, you set the tone from the very jump. And the brother said it, and it goes back to that leadership thing, right? He set a tone. That's the leadership we're talking about. He set a tone. He started that conversation from the jump. This is what I'm looking for. Let her know instantly what's he on. No kerfuffle, no messing around. She doesn't have to figure it out. That's the leadership we're talking about, right? So as soon as he got to that conversation, boom, and that's how I would do it. If I'm ready to get to find a wife, the first conversation I'm having with someone is letting them know this is where I stand, so that the person can also respond to that. There's no gray areas. There's no messing around, and then obviously from there we can have that intentionality of getting to know each other, etc., etc. So
the real question is, if you're on a date. It is. I'm gonna give a little grace and say second date.
Okay.
And as a woman, a man is not saying that. He's not saying I want to be married. He's not saying I want to be in a relationship. He's just y'all are hanging out. Y'all are on your date. So are you cutting and running? Like, are we supposed to cut and run? Or are we supposed to be like, okay, he's gonna pinpoint what's going on?
I'll be honest with you. You're wasting time. I'll be honest with you. Listen, I'm being deadly serious. Men who know what they want say from the very jump. We don't waste time because we haven't got time to waste because we've got things to do. See, so men who've got time to waste are the men that are not really intentional about this process. If I'm interested and I said I should let you, even if I'm not interested in you, I'm trying to let you know this is what I'm on. You know what I mean? I don't waste time.
Okay. So you're saying that you would tell the person, I am dating with the intention of being married, not necessarily to you, because obviously I don't know you. This is our first or second date. But just so you know, this is what I'm on. Or if it's like I'm on, let's just hang out and have fun, then you say that too.
Personally, I don't know why we do dating this way. Personally, I have conversations with people first. I want to know your mindset. So I don't know why I'm going on a date with you when I don't really know you. That for me, if we're at a date, I know about you already. So when we're at the date, I'm not wasting much time. So I don't have to. But for me, I've had conversations with you.
You already spoken on the phone.
Oh yeah, FaceTime. We've done all that kind of stuff. I've got to know you a bit better. I know what your mindset is.
Okay.
Because that's what's most important. It's the mindset. And if you've got it, you know what I'm saying? Then I go and the date can just be like the extra cherry on top, and then we move from there. But each their own. Everyone does it differently, you know.
Okay, Monica, what do you think? Do you think you can we ask? Hold on, let me ask Kojo. Can we ask the question, like, if the man is not saying this is my intention or that is my intention, as a woman, can you say so, or is no intentions being set an intention?
I don't think you need to necessarily ask him. You just have to state what you're on. You know what I mean? Once you state what you're on, he should respond. If he's not responding, I can guarantee he's not on anything. Because once you tell me that, you know, you're serious about dating to marry, I'm either going to be like, yeah, me too. I'm also ready dating to marry. And then from there, you observe my behavior. And am I showing you intentional behavior? If not, you're out.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So, Miss Monica, are we cutting and running? Like, first, second dates, like cutting right through, like, hey, what's up? And if you not,
I'm just like Kojo. I ask.
Okay.
First conversation. I'm not gonna even go on a date with you if we are not connecting some kind of way. I ask questions. I say, hey, do you want to get married? You know, do you want to have any more kids? What is your dating looking like? What is your future looking like? Not necessarily with me, but I need to know because I know I don't have any more kids. I've been married before, so I automatically know what I want in a man. Like, I know this already. So, and I need for him to at least have a little bit of what I want. If not, then why am I going to go? Girl, I got time to be going on no date with nobody I don't even like. Girl, no.
Okay. Anthony, I feel like, and you can tell me if you agree, in our process on Ready to Love, I think that everyone gives a lot of grace because there's a lot of faith and trust in the fact that we're on the show called Ready to Love, right? So you're like, you don't ask the questions, not that you don't ask questions, but people that maybe would not normally even be in your space, because Kojo's saying like you would have a conversation, or Monica's saying you would do certain assessments. You're like, okay, they pass like a first layer because you're all there saying, hey, we're ready to love. What do you think that, Anthony, or no?
That's such a loaded question. I like how you gave me that one. But
I'm saying like,
okay, this is my experience. And you can definitely clarify it. From episode 1 at the mansion, I went into there talking to young ladies saying, hey, I have a daughter. I want to be married. This is what I want from day one. That it definitely scared a lot of women off, but it also gave me a lot of respect because a lot of women know, don't come over here and play. Like literally, this man has all this stuff going on, and he's not about games. So with me, I feel like I was in my own lane because I came in there, I said exactly what I wanted, what my next step in life was. Either you take it or you leave it. And it also helped me because a lot of young ladies who realized they weren't on that tip, it veered them off. You know what I mean? So it got them out the way so that the young ladies that were about that gravitated more to me. And it worked. It worked out in my favor. So as people come along and they say, oh my gosh, Anthony isn't aggressive enough. Anthony isn't this, Anthony is that. No, Anthony is doing exactly what he needs to be doing to get what he needs to get. And he's already weeded out who's not in his lane and who doesn't want the same things that he wants.
Okay.
So the women that were on my page and actually wanted what I wanted, I gravitated more to them and I applied pressure and did what I needed to do. Everybody else was left to the sideline to go play games with who they want to go play games with.
Right. Okay. I mean, I think I didn't have a strategy in the mansion per se, but I think that I try to listen because I am very self-aware that because of my profession, there's always an underlying stereotype and assumption that I'm trying to work all the time. And to be honest with you, the last thing I want to do, I get paid to argue with people. You know what I mean? I do not want to argue with nobody for free. I don't want to cross-examine nobody for free. And I definitely don't want to be in that role in a dating setting. So I'm completely like just my feminine self. So I'm very open. I'm listening a lot, not talking as much because I'm trying to take in and kind of, I'm already in that role of let me hear what you're about because you're supposed to lead if you're going to lead. And then if I don't really hear you saying anything, then I'm kind of like, okay, I got it. I got your message based on, you know, how I communicate, what my expectations are, you know, in a dating dynamic or what I would expect you to say. But I definitely feel like for me, and Anthony's saying no, but I think we gave like just a first little slither layer. I feel like people had the opportunity to interact that normally for me personally would never interact with me because I was like, okay, we're on a show. Everybody's here, open, ready for love. Let's see like what that means to you. So at least that layer, you know, you still ask questions and you still listen and kind of judge people by how they're kind of moving around. But people get a little more grace because they're there, right? So you're interacting already. Whereas in the natural world, if they were just out, you know, I wouldn't see them. I wouldn't be in the same areas or the same places, the same spaces at the same time to see some people. So I do think that watching, we don't get enough grace for the fact that these are the people that are here. Okay, so we're trying to get to know the people that are there. Yeah, sure. In a perfect world, we'd go out and get to know, I don't know, 100 people, but we're getting to know the people that are there to see if they match any of our criteria. Did you want to say something, Kodra? Because you were nodding.
I'm agreeing with you. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I'm agreeing with you.
Okay,
I think
so
Brother Timothy's waiting to add some wisdom. I can feel it in my spirit. Timothy.
I'll say just two things briefly. One, Sue-Ann, I think you're right in that people on the show are worthy of some grace because you're entering into an expectation saying that you're ready to enter into a committed relationship and you're in a setting that's designed for you to pursue different potential with an array of different people who are pre-selected. You're not random people just grabbing people on the street, but you are adults who've said, I want love. I'm being courageous and vulnerable and putting myself out there in this setting to see what works. I think you all were in a very different scenario than everything that we have described thus far. And I think you all are worthy of grace in that setting. And what I would just add to what has been said by everyone else is that the key, I guess, a through line with what everyone said is communication and intentionality. And so that regardless of what stage you're in a relationship or what you believe you are building with someone, you should clearly communicate your intentions. Mm-hmm. And so even early on, so like if it's a first or second date, you should clearly communicate that I would like to be married. I don't know if it's to you yet because we're still figuring that out, but that is something that's something I'm pursuing. I want a committed relationship. We're not there yet. Even if you're not there yet, you should still be willing to communicate that. My wife will tell you that when we started dating, I told her very early that I told her that I want to be married. I'm pursuing you towards marriage. And I told her, I don't want you to be just another woman on my arm, but I said, this is it for me. And so like I'd had the benefit of knowing her for 2 years prior to that. We were friends prior to us entering into that phase of our relationship. But I told her within the first couple of weeks of us building a romantic connection that this is it for me and that I want to pursue you towards marriage and like, let's build a bond and see if this is what we believe it to be. And then within 2 years of that, we were married, or at least within 2 years of that, we were engaged. And about 6 months after that, we were married. And so But just from the very beginning, I was clear with her, and even before her, I never pursued a woman that I couldn't see a future with. And so it was always about the idea that I'm going to clearly state that this is what I'm pursuing, this is what I want. And even if something wasn't working out, so like when you were asking never have I ever earlier, I've never ghosted anyone because I felt like it's only right that I say, if this is not working, to communicate this is not working. And let's communicate like grown-ups. And, like there might be some emotions involved in that, but it's better for me to clearly say this isn't working, or for you to say this isn't working, than for the lack of communication to be communication, is ultimately what I'm getting at. But I'm all for, especially men, I'm all for men very clearly saying this is what I want. Because, and here's the other thing, Kojo was getting at this, and he was getting at it another way. Men will tell you what they want, but it may not be with their words, though. But a man will always tell you what he wants with his actions. If a man wants you, you will know that he wants you. If a man is pursuing a commitment to you or is committed to you, you will know. And if you have to question it, he's not committed to you. And it's really that, like, men are not complicated. Like, we might say complicated things sometimes, but our actions are usually very clear. And if we want something, we'll go after it. Especially look at everything else in a man's life, in his career and his material pursuits. If he wants something, he'll go get it. And if a man wants a woman, he's going to make it known that he wants her and do whatever it takes in his eyes to get her attention. And so if you don't feel that, yes, like someone said in the comments, ask questions if you feel like you need to, but oftentimes it's going to show you with his actions, even more so than his words.
Sir Timothy.
The man, the genius.
Y'all are too kind. I might have to come on here more often.
Yes, please. Okay, so I ran across this story on, I think it was on TV. I can't remember. And I was like, oh, I want to talk about this at the adult table, because I feel like we do not talk about this side enough. We don't talk about polyandry, which is women having more than one husband. And they're gonna have a new show about it, apparently.
Oh.
Okay, did you guys hear it a little or no?
No. But
okay, so this new show on TLC is about women who have multiple husbands, and it's showing like the progression of their marriages, having multiple husbands. And I don't think, I've never seen a show about that. I've seen the show like Sister Wives, where the guy has more than one wife. And full transparency, I definitely am neuro challenged. So I definitely feel like I have ADD. I could not do it. I could just, my attention span alone, like, it just looks like a lot of work. And then I can't even imagine with kids, but I know people do it. Like people have, obviously men have multiple wives, and apparently based on the show, they have multiple women that have multiple husbands. But the reason why it was so funny and interesting to me, and I'll talk to you guys about it, obviously, my perspective or my experience with something like that in a way was on the show, because we had to obviously date multiple people at the same time. And then we had to talk to the other people that were dating the people we were dating at the same time. I went into the process saying, you can't have your normal response to anything that goes on, because it's not your normal setting. Like you normally, if you were dating a guy and he was dating other people, you wouldn't be chilling with him in the lounge every week talking about the dude. So you kind of have to, or what I did, I won't say you, I had to kind of prepare myself mentally, like, yeah, you might see this person go on a date, or you might hear somebody that you like talking about somebody else, or another woman talking about the person that you like, but you know what the process is, and not to have like a, whatever your normal response would be, outside of a process like that, to understand that's going to be normal because we're dating all together. And then the second thing I prepared myself for was, in the event that there was a rejection, because I think in the last episode they were talking about, like, if you have a connection with somebody but the person don't have a connection with you, like, how do you handle it? And I definitely was like, okay, obviously, again, we're in a dating process. It's very transparent to a certain extent, because it's on, it's on camera. They don't show everything, but it's on camera. There's gonna come a point where some people are gonna have to get moved around. Like some people are gonna get rejected because maybe somebody has a connection with somebody, or they don't have a connection with somebody else. So there's gonna come a point where it's gonna have to be like, hey, I'm moving in this direction, or I'm not interested. I'm going this direction, or I'm gonna go deeper with this person. Like how just preparing myself for the experience to say, okay, cool. And in natural life, for me, I want whoever wants me to be with me, who don't to be with whoever they're supposed to be. So it's not really a preparation. It's more like just knowing it's a selection thing. You're choosing who you want to get to know more and deciding who you don't want to get to know more over time. But the polyandry thing, it looks like a lot of work, Monica. I don't know. What you think? I want to ask the ladies first, because the guys had the other thing with the 5 unlearning things.
Baby, let me tell you, ain't no way in God's name that I'm going to be married to 2 men in the same house. It's don't look right. It's not right. It doesn't make sense. Dating is dating.
Okay.
Married is being married.
Okay.
Dating multiple people, that's called dating.
Okay.
The difference is on the show, you guys are together, just like you said. So you're in a different setting. So you get to see it. But when you're not in a different setting, if you're just dating, you might have 2 guys that you're interested in, and you might go on 2 different dates, maybe 2 dates in the week, because you're trying to fill both of them out. There's nothing wrong with that. But having 2 men in the house saying that we're married, first of all, that's illegal.
I mean, maybe not in the state that they're taping it, but I've
never seen this. Do you want to hear "Girl, What's the Tease" version of Miss Monica?
Yes, I do.
"Girl, What's the Tease" that's some bullshit. Y'all know. Okay, then let's think about it.
I was shocked to see Black people on it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not trying to be weird. It's a Black lady on there. Okay.
I'm disappointed in her. I'm lady Miss Monica talking to you. I'm disappointed with you for doing this. I am. Why would she do what? I want to know how they doing this in the bedroom, because see, having threesomes with 2 men, just
they said one sleeps in his room and then she got her own room with the other guy, and then I guess sometimes they bring the other person. or whatever. I mean,
There is something else going. This is weird. Those people are weird. That's weird. World. See the world we live in. You see what I'm talking about? I've never seen this. Now you know I'm going to go watch it and I'm going to review it because but I think this is a mess. That's a mess.
That's a mess.
Let me just say one thing. Sister wives, we can adapt a little bit because it's been going on from generation to generation. Men have multiple wives in different countries. We know that. But yeah, we know. This is the first I've ever heard of this. This is
okay. Miss Monica says no. Mrs. Stamps, what do you think?
I'm not for it.
Okay.
I'm not for it. I'm for order in the household, and that ain't gonna bring you no order. That's gonna be self-destruction. Do you? But it ain't gonna be a good time.
It's not gonna be a good time.
No.
Okay.
Save yourself some peace. Cause that ain't it.
That ain't it. What about the concept that people always say, you know, one person cannot be your everything, and so one person can't. So that's why polyandry is the solution to that, because one man can't be your everything, I guess, or fulfill you in everything. So then that's why the idea is that she has multiple husbands, or the people on the show have multiple husbands, because they're like, well, he's more for my emotional and my financial, and this person is more for my physical and my spiritual. Like, what do you think about that? Or do you think it should just be, you should keep searching until it's in one person and then that's it?
Your person
it's within the person. If you gotta search for a guy to fulfill something within you, it's a problem there. You need to evaluate yourself. Like, what's missing in your own spirit? Something missing there. And ain't no man feel that. You're gonna have to figure that out.
Yeah. And your person is your person. So your person is going to be able to do all of those things for you. If that person can't do all of those things for you, then that's not your person. And then you need to put him back. That person,
out to the streets.
Put him back, because he's going to be blocking you from your person.
Whether you need a person to fulfill something within you that's missing.
Okay, maybe I phrased it wrong. I mean, not fulfill, but you know, be present for you in the, because people always talk about you know, that a man is supposed to be there for you emotionally, physically, spiritually. So if you're with somebody and they can only be there for you emotionally, but they're not necessarily the best sex partner, like, are you allowed to be like, oh, this is my emotional husband and this is my husband that I sleep with? See, because it's like, I need both.
No, there's no such thing.
Yeah, no such thing.
That means that person is not loving themselves, because once you love yourself, you find your person, then everything else is going to mish, regardless of the fact. Regardless of the fact.
I feel like
I've heard that. I've heard women like, I had to have him because he give me the money. Then his sex is good over here, and then call him and tell him
double-minded.
Thank you, Miss Stamp. Say it again.
What do you think, Kojo? Because I feel like you there on the trigger, like ready. Say something for the polyandry.
Whether it's any kind of poly, I'm not really for it. I'll be honest with you, to be honest. So whether it's a man or a woman, I'm not really for it. And the reason being is I think that the consequences are felt through the kids, and then are felt through generations after. This is biblical. We've seen how this ends up. It doesn't end good. Whenever you see men in the Bible who have multiple wives, it never ends well. You know, we saw with Abraham, it didn't end well. Hagar got sent away. Okay, Jacob tried it. What's what happened to him? His own son wanted to sleep with his own concubine. It never ends well. David
Never
too.
ends
Your own
well.
son wanted to sleep with your concubine. It never ends well when you have multiple wives. It doesn't end well. It sounds good, but it doesn't end well. And I just think to myself that I do understand though there are different civilizations where this may be a solution on the table. We are in the Western culture. There's no need for this. There's no need for this particular solution. But I will say this as well. You know, at the end of the day, people will do what they feel is best for them. But I always say that once you monitor something over a period of time and see the consequence of that behavior, you'll start to realize that this action isn't a really good action to take. So for me, I'm gonna say respectfully, no. And you know what people don't talk about is we had this with poly relations where the man had multiple women, and you heard people say, you know, I don't get jealous. I don't own the person. Even my God is jealous. So what more you are telling me you're not jealous? I said that's my ending thing there. I'll leave it there. Let someone else jump in. But for me, it's not for me.
Okay, Mr. Stamps, because we're gonna have all the guys say what they think about it.
I agree with everything that's been said. That sounds wild to me. I don't even really rock with, you know, the guys really having multiple women either. I think one is absolutely enough. And if you're trying to go outside elsewhere else, that's to me that's just a side chick that you upgrade and try to be your wife. Like that ain't really what it's supposed to be. That's not how it's supposed to go.
Right.
Like you were saying, that's not how it was written in the word. Like that's just it's not the way it's supposed to go. So I'm not really rocking with it, but it sounds like it'll make for good TV though. But that's just about it as far as it goes for me.
Right, in real life. Okay, Timothy.
Yeah, people might say I'm closed-minded, but I agree with what everyone else says. I believe in monogamy, and just like Ms. Monica said earlier, that's not my understanding of marriage. So I believe two people committed to each other is marriage. And so you start bringing in other people into the relationship and saying that we're sharing one person equally. Like the math ain't mathing for me. I'm not with the poly manifestations of relationships.
Okay.
That's me though. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Okay. What about you, Anthony? What do you think about polyandry?
So I'm gonna actually piggyback off a little bit what you started to say when you talked about our process.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we all went in there with the mindset that we're all gonna be dating each other and we had to respect it, emotion still kicked in at the end of the day. Like it really did. Like we all sat there, we all took notes, we all said, "Oh my gosh, okay, you did this for this person." I don't know about the women's lounge. I didn't really pay attention to y'all, but as the men's lounge went along, you know, you can't tell me that you didn't feel some type of way that somebody had a stronger connection with somebody and they shared an intimate moment than you did. So that being said, how you can sit there and not get into your feelings, knowing that this woman is in the next room with another man, and you probably hear what's going on, and you're not gonna feel some type of way about it. It's just not gonna happen. And it's just why I don't ask women to do certain things, because I never want the roles to be reversed and for them to be like, well, how would you feel if I did this? Or if I invited another man into our bedroom? So that's why I don't even go there with women, because I know personally, I'm gonna say no, I'm not for it. Find somebody else to do it. You know what I mean? Somebody else to do it, because I don't ask for things that I'm not willing to give myself. Like that's just where I stand. So having another man and into a relationship with us is definitely not going to happen with me. It's not going to happen.
How did you prepare? Because you're saying like, okay, you know what the setting is because we're dating multiple people, but at the same time, you got to sit there and listen to such and such talk about whatever their connection is with possibly somebody that you like. Did you prepare like mentally, like, okay, or were you like, like,
okay,
did you
so
take it out on the person, like on the girl, like, oh, so you caked up with so-and-so, or were you like, this is what it is?
As far as my preparation, I had none, to be honest with you. I've always lived by a certain code, and that's just have come along with me with different life experiences, being let down, and just trying to see how things transpire with my dating life. So I've always been in favor, and I actually mentioned this on the show later on in the show. You guys will see. I always said that what's for me will always be for me.
Okay.
Definitely. And there is nothing that I can do, anyone can do to block me from that blessing. So if somebody is for me, they're going to be for me at the end of the day, no matter who spits game in the air, whoever's smooth, what's going on. Like our connection is going to be our connection. Our energy is going to be our connection. I believe in the law of attraction all day, every day. Okay. So what's for me will always be for me.
Okay. Because I was like, let me find out. I know that emotions definitely got crazy, like once we were all separated, and sometimes even when we were together. But again, it was, to me, the scariest part that I always had in the back of my mind, because I'm a worst case scenario type of person. I was like, what happens when somebody gets rejected after being on a journey, and then you're like, like, how is that gonna go? Like, is it gonna blow back on the person? Are they gonna be trying to spray other people? Like, because we don't know each other, so we don't know how everyone is gonna handle rejection. You don't know, and it could go so left. It could go so left, and that's always what. Aside from obviously being in my process and nurturing my connections and following my matches, definitely I was like, oh my God. Because in the lounge, to a certain extent, that's what the discussion is. And it's because you're discussing your matches, but you're also discussing your rejection to a certain extent. So then it's like, okay, you figure out who handles what, like what. And then, for us in the women's lounge, then you kind of moving from there, like, okay, trying to piece things together, because obviously you're not on the dates. Like when we're in the women's lounge, we haven't seen the dates. We're watching it with y'all. So we don't know. We don't know what happens. So somebody could be like, oh, I had 10 kisses and we went to Dubai. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. I don't know, because we haven't seen it. We're seeing it with you guys. So I feel like definitely had to be open-minded to listening or hearing people talking about somebody that you're dating. Hey, Mercedes. And saying, you know what? My main thing I did to prepare, even though Anthony said he didn't do any, which is probably a smarter way. But I definitely was like, I'm going to focus on my connection and my match, like our interaction, and not all the extra stuff. I'm just going to say, okay, if this is a match for me, then I'll see if it's a match. If it's not, it's not. I'm not going to try to like make my judgments or make my decisions based on outside noise, because I wouldn't do that in real life anyway. So it didn't make sense for me to do it in that setting. Anthony left.
Well, I thought you and Anthony are a good connection still.
No, I love Anthony.
No, that. You guys are a good connection. Y'all brought me on here. Y'all thought I was gonna be a little messy.
You're being messy.
Classy shade.
Messy.
You guys are a great connection. I definitely think so. Like really, not for just show purposes, but when I see you guys together, I say, now that's actually a good connection. So
with that, unfortunately, they didn't really show how everything truly transpired. It was actually an amazing connection between me and Suanne. I wish they would have allowed it to play it out the way that it actually did play out, because then you would have got to see A, B, and C of it. And me and Suanne have a great relationship. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like you definitely are on point with that.
I know Miss Monica can read.
I know.
Yeah, I know. I look past the show and I go back deep and I say, okay, what did they cut out of this scene? Because this right here is definitely a connection. And this is these are couples that I could see in real life together. When I look at the show, I put the couples together in my mind on how they will look outside of the show. And I could see you guys in a restaurant sitting, eating, and enjoying each other's company. And then I can see the bullshit couples that I know are not going to last, and I don't know why they end up at the end together. I can see that. So I definitely saw the connection. I actually said that when I watched it. I said, okay, this is a connection right here. And then I see you guys are always here together. So Miss Monica got her eyes on y'all. See y'all.
Listen, me and Anthony are locked in. We're like family.
That's what we saying.
That's it.
Y'all locked in right now. We see that.
Everybody gets on us because they say that our cast, we're very close, which we are.
I know about this cast, which is amazing. This cast is amazing. The friendship that you guys have bonded together, and I really, really enjoy. It's not toxic, and I love that about this particular cast. I love that.
Listen, I appreciate it because times get hard. The internet is crazy.
Yes, they are.
But we're surviving. We definitely, we have our group chat and we're like, let's be supportive of each other. Let's try to be positive. I mean, obviously we can't control, or that sentiment doesn't reach everybody, but that's just normal life, like selection. There's going to be people that are optimists and positive and, on that vibe. And then there's going to be people that are negative. And so you just move how you can. And as Anthony said, you're going to gravitate towards the people like Mercedes, like Anthony, the people that you're in, Marcia, the Tony, the people who are at the adult table, the people that you're like, these people are the tribe of people that I would rock with, wherever in real life.
I like the connection. You guys have to be prepared for Little Black Books. And I'm not on his level yet. I will get there soon. But you have to be prepared for it's not the bloggers, it's the comments that comes with the blogging.
Mm.
And so you have to be prepared. People need to understand when you go and put yourself in the front of the camera for the world to see, it's a world that we're in. Don't expect it to be all roses.
No, absolutely not.
If you don't have the mental strength, then I advise to don't do it.
Right. No, they do ask us that. Yeah. You can say that, right, Tony? Anthony? They do ask you that, are you going to be able to deal with XYZ? And for me, obviously I can only speak for myself. Because of the work that I do in the space that I do it in, I deal with a lot of trolls. Like, people don't like me. Police don't like me. Those are the people that I sue. You know what I mean? On behalf of the culture. So I'm used to people like, I have to do a press conference. I got to say these cops did this messed up stuff. Whatever. And so I'm going to get heat. I'm going to get death threats based on who my law partners are. Like, I'm going to have issues and have to be with security and have to deal with people having a lot to say about who I am as a person and my decisions or whatever in work. So it was crazy to have people like think they're in my personal business and have things to say about that. It's so interesting. But I think, luckily, I won't say I have thick skin because I don't really think anybody has thick skin. Like, everybody is receptive to input and things people are saying. If they're negative, they're positive, whatever. But I definitely was not as thrown off by the idea that people had an opinion about what we were doing. I wasn't thrown off by it. I was like, okay, well, that's how you see it. That's how you see it. As opposed to like, what? How dare you? It was more like, right, interesting. Not really what, I don't agree, but okay, cool. Or you wasn't there. So, okay, cool.
No, and they cut this out. So I need to explain myself because you didn't see this part. And they don't care because they're just people that are sitting at home looking at the TV and they want to judge. Half of them want to be here. They want to be you. They want to do it. So then they can't say anything positive. And that's one of the main things is someone said something about my wig last weekend and I'm just a blogger. And
which is cute.
Hey, I don't care. I expect that. They will come for us as well.
Right.
It's the mental. You can't prepare, but you can mentally prepare yourself. Don't look at the blogs. Don't
do people say things about you, Mr. and Mrs. Stamps? I haven't seen negative things, but I don't really look for negative things. Do you feel like you all have been attacked just based on like Because to me, I see you guys are radiating positivity. You know what I mean? Y'all is doing y'all Black excellence. Y'all on one accord. Y'all is doing your business. I'm like, what are people going to say negative about that? Do people still try to slide negative stuff?
They do.
A little bit, yeah. It was kind of bad in the beginning. Like on Facebook, people be like, "What is y'all doing? Y'all look like robots. Oh, you're so boring." They used to throw some insults. But I think once they got, to get to know the platform and what we were doing, then that's when they started to be more of a fan. But in the beginning, they used to say some things that I ain't like.
Mhm.
How did you guys deal with that? How'd you deal with that?
Delete and block.
Thank you. Exactly. Stamp on it. Delete and block.
Yeah.
Oh, don't forget restrict.
Yeah. See, I'm from Detroit, so I'm gonna wanna fight you back online. So I have to delete and block, or otherwise I will come back at you.
Don't sleep on Mrs. Stamps, okay? Listen, he said I'm from Detroit.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, I don't know. I've seen comments and stuff. I have not taken it upon myself to respond to anything that's negative just because I don't see where it goes. But I'm like that in real life because like I said, I do deal with negativity and like death. So it's like, somebody don't like my hair. I'm like, okay, you don't like my hair. I'll comb it, whatever. But it's not it. And I'm glad, I guess, that I can kind of, maintain, because it's not, the main focus is not necessary for me, is not negative comments or comments, period. My process was my process, but I've seen other castmates of ours definitely get in the comments and be like, "What?" And I'm like, okay. I mean, everybody handles it their own way. What do you think, Kojo? Because I feel like you have panels that really be digging deep. They be digging like people's souls and stuff. I'm like, how y'all know who don't worship Christ and who is the devil? What? I'd be like, whoa.
Oh, did someone say that? I don't even remember.
No, I would just.
I probably said that.
Using that as an example.
Probably was me who said it. But I'm likely to say something like that. But no, I mean, our panels can be sometimes sharp. I tend to try and focus our panels on psychology and what's actually happening as behavior.
Okay.
I don't like getting into physical appearances and stuff like that unless it's actually a part of the actual situation and it contributes towards what is making a difference in the scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Occasionally, sometimes people make comments and it goes a bit left. So it does happen. But majority of the time, we like to focus on that. I'll be honest with you. I've said the same thing I always say to everybody that goes on Ready to Love or any reality TV show, right? Especially like a dating one. The TV show wants to create a storyline. It wants to create a narrative. But it creates a narrative using some of your traits. And the one thing that's frustrating for an audience when you're watching it is when people start denying they have those traits. You have those traits. That's why they're using it against you. What people don't realize is that when they see the show, it's like, but that's not all of me. We know it's not all of you. So come out, do an interview, and show us a different side. But they get so locked in to the fact that someone said that you got this part of your personality, and then they get fixated on that, and it becomes, I've got to prove that I'm not this way. It's like, no, you are. You know what I'm saying? Like if I go on reality TV, I can tell you this now, they're gonna capture me. Probably trying to be a little bit uppity. Maybe I'm gonna be trying to scold someone a little bit. They're gonna catch my bad sides. And I would have to accept it that that's a part of me too. I'm not perfect, but they're gonna catch that part. And I may fit the villain brand if I go on the show. And I think people the thing about reality TV is that it exposes sides of people that they didn't realize they had. And it's like you have to look at yourself in the mirror and go, oh, that's me. No, but I'm not a bad person. You're not a bad person. That's not what it's saying. They're saying there's characteristics that some people have. It starts showing them in a particular light. And my final point is this: most of the audience, especially my audience, let me say my audience specifically, all they're ever looking for is accountability. Because sometimes there'll be some stuff that people are doing and it's mad. and then the person will come out and be like,
double down.
That's not what happened. Production forced me. Production doesn't force me. They influence you. They don't force. They influence, and you have a choice to say yes or no. A lot of people don't really know this, but you have a choice to say yes or no. But they're very strong with the influence. You know what I mean? And that's when you start to realize, oh, okay. So you got influence. What people don't realize is if they can influence you, so can someone else who has a manipulative spirit. I can see it. And if they're doing that, then someone else can also do it. Because a lot of people have come on the show and go like, I didn't want to do that, so I wasn't going to do it. And the show will have to leave them. They might have to force them off. They might have to kick them off or whatever, but they won't do it because they've set themselves to say they're not going to do that. So for me, it's always about honesty, and it's always about as well taking accountability. If it looks bad, if it is bad, you know what I mean? I thought we just saw the last episode. Someone went a bit wild at the end. You know what I'm saying? They're going to come out and make justifications. We're all going to look at them like the person that they're crazy because we saw what we saw. You know what I mean?
and that's what we're going to talk about. What we saw. We don't see the behind the scene. We don't see behind.
Right. Okay. I get what you're saying. You're saying if you're argumentative, if that's, and I can agree with it in the sense that I know we definitely take a psych eval, and I know from being on both sides, because I've negotiated contracts for people that go on shows before. You do your psych eval, and then they get their characters based on that. So they're like, this person is non-confrontational. This person's confrontational. This person is going to be super aggressive. This person is going to be kind of passive. This person is going to be this. And then kind of put the storyline together based on that. So I do agree with you in the sense that if you are competitive, then it's going to bring out your competitiveness. Or if you are argumentative, it's going to bring out that. Or if you're kind of a protection person, then it's going to bring out that. And there is a thing where people say, well, it's not showing all my personality. I'm not going to say I never. I haven't had the experience of feeling like I don't think that I've been shown inaccurately. I do think there's a lot pieces of the story pieces of different stories that are missing, especially like earlier we showed Kojo wasn't here, but we had like a date, like a group date, and it was just like a fun date. Like we were just having fun. Everybody was interacting. It wasn't no like drama. It was just like us having fun, like as grown ass Black people, but they never showed it. So we were like, how come the audience doesn't just get to like see like everybody kind of just hanging out and just chilling and vibing and like enjoying each other? It's like very much, this is what the narrative is or whatever, which is the only thing that I don't like. Because to me, outside of this, I've been on TV for many years, in other settings. And I always try to, with the understanding that I know how we're depicted in media, just in general, like the media is not kind. I remember working for a major broadcast network. I won't say the name. And they were like, you need to cut your hair. You can't wear bright colors, and, don't wear makeup. We save the Barbie look for the white commentators. You need to have short hair and look a different type of way for you to be the Black person in this space. And I was like, what? You want me to? So this is not who I am. I don't have my hair short. I do wear bright colors or whatever. That's who I am. And you're telling me to fit what a Black person is supposed to be on air, I need to be someone else. So ever since that experience, I kind of bucked all the way against that. Like, I'm going to fully always be myself as much as possible. And whatever gets shown that it's going to be, it's going to be me, whether it gets cut up and chopped or not. All of it is definitely me unapologetically. What do you think about that, Anthony? Do you feel like things that were shown were parts of your personality but exaggerated, or no?
Yes and no.
Okay.
I feel like I'm very I'm confident and I know what I want. You know what I mean? I pride myself on not being a man that chases every woman that walks by me. You know what I mean? I definitely go after what it is I want. I'm an observer, so I'll sit back, I'll observe everyone and everything and see, who fits my idea of a lifestyle, not just at this moment, but for the long term. So I feel like that's something that I went after. If I wasn't talking to someone, if I wasn't pursuing someone, it's because you didn't fit my lifestyle. I wasn't into you. You know what I mean? I'm not going to waste my time. I'm not going to waste your time and be something that I'm not just for the sake of being on TV. You know what I mean? Or try to rack up numbers in order to be safe. That's not what I was here for. So in that word, I've heard things like, oh, he's passive. Oh, he's timid. Oh, he doesn't know how to talk to women. No, I'm 40 years old. I'm put together. You know what I mean? Like, I know my age. I know where I come from. I know what I have to offer. So I'm going to go after who fits my life and not sit here and play games and just to rack up numbers and play with somebody's daughter, So in a sense, it's just, I'm confident and I know exactly what I want. It's not my fault if some people can't take rejection or that every man doesn't want them. Literally, you're not for everybody in this world. You know what I mean? And you're never going to be for everybody. So you just have to come to that fact and just accept, okay, cool. Just because you have 10 women here don't mean it's 10 women are for you. 2 out of the 10 might be for you and you might have interest in. The other 8 might be friends or just somebody you never talked to a day in your life. So you have to take all that into consideration. So when I see these edits and when I see what's going on, I know who I had connections with, the conversations that we had on and off air. So I know exactly where we're going. That's why I'm really unbothered about a lot of things, because at the end of the day, like, I see real life stuff. Like, I save people's lives for a living. So I have to remain calm. I have to remain cool-headed and know exactly in what direction I'm gonna go. So I don't react to everything, every comment. Like, I've had a lot of conversations with Kojo. I respect his panel a lot, as of other panels, but I feel like some panels as well don't take the time to actually do research and do their due diligence and find out different things. Like, if you ask them what a digital exclusive date is, they couldn't even tell you because they don't do their due diligence and go in there and actually research the cast, research the tapes and things that are going on. And I feel like if you have a craft and you're going to put yourself out there and give your opinion, make sure you know everything about what you're talking about. Or else at the end of the day, when things transpire and things come out, you look like an ass because you didn't do the due diligence and find out what you need to find out. So I feel like that's kind of my problem with a lot of things that are being said. And like Miss Monica said, a lot of it is the commentary. But when you go back and you look at it, a lot of these people have fake profiles. And like she said, they want to be you. They want to be in the place that you are. And they can't be. So, of course, they're going to hate. I just feel at a disadvantage, and it bothers me that the majority of the people that are hating and commentating are our own people, because we watch this show, our own people, so we're literally putting down our own people that are on TV. For what? So that's how I feel about it. Yeah, the edits are disturbing at a time, but like Kojo said, the majority of this are our personalities. And I feel like as time goes by, a lot of things are going to transpire and come to light. And you're going to be like, yeah, I knew that was coming, or I saw this in that person, or, oh my gosh, that person is exactly who they say they are. Like Kojo said, when you do the interviews, you'll get to learn who this person really is based on their interview. And was it the same person that you saw on air? So that's why a lot of these things to me are like, it's unbothered because I deal with real life stuff. And this to me is just, it doesn't fit the character,
Ladies and gentlemen, Anthony.
But can I say something about that? What he just said?
Of course.
This particular season, I chose not to do a review for one reason, because I got so embedded in the cast from last season, aftermath on some of the cast members not being able to even go back on social media, having to go to therapy, being with representatives because they didn't ask questions. So then they matched up with people that actually were horrible outside of the set. So now you've matched me with someone that was not the person that I seen, because they're not being like you, Sue. They're not being like Anthony. You can tell the people that are their original selves because the camera can't catch anything but you being yourself. The camera is looking for you coming out being your real self, because it's always going to pick up the representative. So if your representative is not present, then it's going to get the Sue-Ann that's being like, okay, well, yeah, this is me being me. They're going to get the Anthony that's just cool, laid back, and is like, okay, yeah, I'm not bothered, and I'm not going to run behind you, because that's his personality. That's the man that he is. But then you got some that one day we're going to see them acting one way, and then another day we're going to see the camera get them, and we're like, oh, that's who you really are. See, I'm real good on the representative. I'm going to look for your representative, because you can't trick me. I would not be allowed to be tricked. So I took this season to help promote and support and show love, because you guys are us. We the same. Mm-hmm. So instead of me going on and saying, oh, Anthony beard is too big, or Sue-Ann hair got caught up in the heat, or I didn't like her dress. No, let me support her doing her show. Or let me take her reel and put it back through my page and support her doing this. Or let me support Marcy with her cute outfits. Or let me support Morgan with her looking good at her age and doing her thing. Let me do that instead of get on and saying, oh, Tony was this. He don't like Jesus. He want to pray too much. Or Morgan didn't like this, or Jeffrey was this. Let me do something different this season to show support. So that's why I chose to do it that way.
Okay.
So.
No, and we appreciate your support for sure. I will, because we're like way over time, but I loved you. I loved having you guys. But I know Timothy has to go. He has husband duties. He has dad duties. And I appreciate him so much coming. I know everybody has duties to get to. So I have to ask, because I asked everybody, it's our last question before we could do the adult table prayer now, if you guys want, before we do the what is Black love. And then when you answer your Black love, you can tell us where to find you, where to look for you, and give your closing all in one, because we're like a whole 45 minutes over, but I didn't feel like it, just because I felt like the conversation and the company was very adult. It was giving adult table. So I'm happy for that. I mean, I definitely built out the platform for these conversations for this reason, just for, like you said, Miss Monica, for us to have the opportunity to be like, hey, there are edits, there are cuts. Obviously, we're on a show. We voluntarily went on the show and we're cool with it. But hey, we have other things going on and other perspectives, ideas, and ways that we express ourselves. So I appreciate each of you for coming to the adult table. If you're watching, I appreciate you too. You're amazing. Everybody who tapped in, who tuned in, even if you tapped in for 5 minutes, Mercedes is here. I appreciate you very, very much. If you didn't subscribe already, do that. We're going to try to just build it out and bring more. And, I'll talk about work, but we'll also talk about this stuff, the human side. So super, super appreciate you guys. And I have a lot of respect for Miss Monica, for the Stamps, for Kojo, obviously for Timothy and Anthony and everybody on the panel. Or else, guess what? Everybody don't get invited. So there's a statement in that. Okay? I'm going to leave it at that. I will say the adult table prayer, which is everybody who is not at the adult table, please keep away from me. The Stamps. So, what is your definition of Black love?
I mean, I'll just keep it short and sweet. I think Black love is excellent. It's beautiful, and we need more of it in the world to be able to see.
Yes.
I like that. So, where can we find you? Because, Mrs. Stamps, I'm about to try to come over there to get some hair. So, okay. Drop it for us. Where can we find it?
You can find us on YouTube at The Stamps. You can also find us on Facebook. The page is called Stamps TV. You can find us on our website, www.stamps-tv.com. And yeah, that's where you can find us.
We love it. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you. We'll continue to watch you guys, and we love to see it and hope to have you back.
For sure.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Anthony, I know you've done this because you've been here before, but
So
what is it?
Black love to me is just I feel like it's resilience, it's triumph, is definitely overcoming difficult obstacles, um always gravitating and finding each other no matter what goes on. I feel like in this world, you know, we're so like obstructed by like social media and different things that we see other couples doing. I feel like it's just defining what your relationship is within each other. That's what Black love is to me. You can find me at IM_Anthony Martin NP, sky's the limit health.com, and sky's the limit at on that Instagram as well.
Okay. Timothy.
Yeah, thanks again for having me, Sue-Ann. It's always a pleasure to join you. Love what you're building here. I think Black love is two people coming alongside each other and facing all odds together, affirming each other, building each other up, despite everything that's thrown at us. Part of the reason you're here, part of the reason we're here is because Black people loved each other, and Black love is sustaining, and it's weathered every storm presented to us. And shameless plug, Rashida and I were part of a documentary called Black Love like 2 years ago. It's put on by Sophia Ballin. She has a site called Black History Untold, and each year there's a different theme where they celebrate different untold stories about Black people in America. And 2 years ago, the theme was Black love, and so Rashida and I were part of it. We tell our story and things like that. So it's about 5 minutes here or there. And so that's out there. In terms of where you can find me, I'm on social media. Everything is just my name, Timothy Welbeck, 1L. I also have a website, timothywelbeck.com. And again, it was a pleasure being on here with y'all again.
Thank you so much, Timothy. Sir Timothy, as Kojo has dubbed you, and I co-sign, and as the head of the adult table, I say yes, Sir Timothy it is. Appreciate you always. Thank you very much. And thank Mrs. Welbeck for permitting you to be here for this length of time. Thank you very much.
She says hello.
Hi. And your shirts are on the way. Miss Monica, what is your definition of Black love?
Black love to me is us as Black women supporting one another, supporting our Black men, supporting our Black kids, a healthy marriage, just being in love. Black love to me is my new boo that came and watched me and was texting me and telling me that I was cute. That's love. That part, him showing me that he wants me, like Kojo said. That's Black love. Okay, new boy, you freaking love. Fresh new love. I like it. So, and I do thank you guys for having me on. I had such an amazing time. Also, you can find me at Girl What's the Tea, Ready to Love and More. Also on Instagram. Follow me on both of those Instagrams. YouTube, I will start something new this week as well. And also, I'm TikToking also. Girl What's the Tea as well. So you can find me at Girl What's the Tea all over the place. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Miss Monica. Thank you very much. It's been an honor and a privilege. Hey, Kojo. So I think, were you here last time when we did this question? I can't remember. And shout out to Mercedes. She is one of our cast members. She's on here and she's at work. She's in the air and she's checking us out. Appreciate the support. Mercedes knows what it is. You know what it is. Okay, go ahead, Kojo. Sorry.
No, I appreciate it. For me, Black love is very simple. It's just love with Black people in it. It's about understanding our unique struggles, our advantages, our benefits, our perspective, and just kind of, also understanding that, our love goes beyond just ourselves, but it goes on to our generations, and we can heal some of the trauma that we faced as Black people together. So, that's Black love.
All right. And where can we find you? The most infamous.
You can find me on YouTube as Little Black But 91, Insta as Little Black But 91. If you like dancing, you can find me on TikTok on there as Black Muscle 91. Yeah, I bounce my chest muscle. So just before to warn you, just in case you are married and you start seeing it, your wife's asking why you're watching someone bounce their chest muscles, just in case. Okay, yeah, so that's me.
I'm gonna check it out. I need to get on it. But no, I appreciate you guys again. Thank you so much. Thank you to everybody who tapped in. Please subscribe. We'll be back next week, same time, same place, with an amazing guest. I almost feel like this is, I don't want to say spiritual experience because that takes it a little too far, but it's definitely an emotional experience. I feel like everybody here who gets invited to the adult table is being transparent and real, and for that reason, that's why you got an invitation, and I super appreciate you all. So I will hopefully, please keep in contact at Not Just a Lawyer and on this YouTube page. I appreciate you guys, and I hope to see you back soon.
Not everybody.
Let's go short.